For years, Officer Bradley Kent used his badge like a weapon, stopping, searching, and charging black drivers for reasons no one could clearly explain. But that all changed the night he stopped the wrong man, Maurice Brand. And suddenly, the man with the badge found himself facing someone who knew the law better than he did. This is the story of one man's fight against a system built to silence people like him, and how his quiet courage set off a chain reaction no one saw coming. Maurice Brand had driven that stretch of Highway 84 outside Valdosta, Georgia, at least 100 times before. It was his regular route home from community events places, where he spoke to younger veterans about housing, job programs, rebuilding their lives. That night, he was tired but at peace, humming a Luther Vandross song softly on the radio as he headed home. Then, the blue lights flashed behind him. Without hesitation, Maurice pulled over, hands steady on the wheel. He knew the drill too well, but this time, he was ready. The patrol car rolled up behind him, engine humming. Maurice clicked the voice recorder app on his phone and angled it toward the window. Steady and calm, a white officer, Bradley Kent, approached with the kind of swagger Maurice had seen before, not in war zones, not in courtrooms, but here in small-town southern police departments. The kind that came with power but no accountability. "Evening. You know why I pulled you over?" the officer said, his voice bored. "No, sir, I don't," Maurice replied calmly. "Your tail light's out," Kent said. Maurice didn't look back. "I had my car serviced last week." They checked the lights, Kent scoffed, asked for license and registration. Maurice handed it over slowly, careful not to make any sudden moves. Kent's nameplate read BN Kent. He glanced into the back seat, then at the bag. "What's in the bag?" "My laptop. Notes from a seminar I gave today. I'm an attorney." The word hit Kent like a brick. He paused just long enough. "Oh yeah. Step out of the vehicle for me," Kent ordered. "Am I being detained?" Maurice asked. "You are now." For a tail light, Kent's hand dropped to his belt. "Sir, step out of the car now." Maurice opened the door slowly, phone still recording. He didn't argue, but he didn't fold. Kent told him to put his hands on the hood, then patted him down roughly. Maurice stayed calm, steady voice. "Am I under arrest?" "What's the charge?" Kent ignored him, walked around shining his flashlight on the taillights. "Looks like the lights are fine," Kent said, "but you didn't comply fast enough. So I'm writing you up for obstruction." "Obstruction? You mean for stepping out without cause?" Maurice asked, looking Kent in the eye. Kent leaned in, lip curled. "You got a problem. You take it up with the court." Kent tore up the citation copy and walked away like it was settled. Maurice stood a moment, heart steady. "Officer Kent," Maurice called out loud enough for him to hear, "I look forward to seeing you in court." Kent didn't respond and drove off. Maurice wasn't angry. He was ready. At home, he opened his trunk to check the tail light still glowing red. He snapped a time-stamped photo, then settled in for the fight. He didn't own a television. It distracted him. What he did have was a whiteboard, legal pads, a worn laptop, and a steel track memory. Every morning before sunrise, coffee black, he sat by his window overlooking Patterson Street, digging into the law. The citation was vague. Failure to comply, verbal resistance, possible safety risk. Not headline news, but slippery enough to stick in a town where judges stopped asking questions when they saw a badge. Maurice memorized Georgia's obstruction statute. He cross-referenced Kent's past citations. Patterns emerged. Nearly all stops involved black drivers. Most charges went unchallenged. Those that did, quietly dismissed. Maurice reached out to some, left notes, made calls. A few shared stories. Wallace Hightower, a retired deacon, showed Morris a ticket he'd kept for 6 years, a reminder things hadn't changed. Tanisha Drury recounted how Kent once followed her home, accused her of erratic driving from a distance, then charged her for uncooperative behavior. Morris collected every statement, recorded every word. He laid out timelines, citation dates, names, and patterns on his wall, a map of something broken. Court hearing date approached. Morris filed to represent himself. No lawyers, no public defenders, just calm confidence and preparation. He rehearsed his arguments, studied courtroom demeanor, practiced tough questions for Kent and the prosecutor. No theatrics, just truth. A photo taped inside his final folder. His army unit in 2008, a week after losing a comrade in an ambush. That day had changed him, taught him control, focus, and the cost of silence. This courtroom wasn't a battlefield, but the stakes were just as high. The hearing begins. The Valdosta Municipal Courthouse looked the same, plain brick, worn steps, flag barely moving. In sticky Georgia air, but tension thickened the atmosphere. A small reporter stood outside. Local veterans sat in the back. Whispers filled the halls. Officer Kent entered. Full uniform, badge gleaming, posture stiff. Morris entered alone, briefcase in hand, folders stacked, no spotlight, just quiet strength. Judge Bernard Tilson called the court to order. State of Georgia versus Morris Brandt. Citation no to 1504. The clerk announced. Morris stood tall. The prosecutor summarized. Traffic stop. Non-compliance. Citation issued. Simple, routine. Then Morris spoke. I'd like to submit exhibit a full, unedited video recording from my personal device. No objection. The video played. Kent's voice ordering Morris out. The light shining red. Morris calm. Compliant. Questioning. No shouting. No violence. The courtroom heard every word. A cough echoed. Judge Tilson leaned back. Silent. Morris faced the judge. That is the entire footage. No other events. Morris submitted a list of 14 prior citations issued by Kent, all involving black drivers, with near-identical vague charges, written statements from others stopped under similar circumstances. Judge Tilson paused. Morris said quietly, "This isn't just about me. It's about what happens when no one speaks up. Outside, word spread. Podcasts picked it up. The community watched. Kent looked irritated but unafraid. I'm just following procedure," he said to a fellow officer. You see how calm he is. That's fake. He's building a case. Kent scoffed. Judge will toss it. But the calm, prepared defendant was harder to ignore. On the stand, Kent faced Morris's questions. You said I was verbally resistant. What does that mean? Kent hesitated. You refused to comply immediately. Kent nodded. Did I raise my voice? Make threats? No. Did I say I wouldn't get out? No. So the delay was asking if I was being detained. Kent glanced at the prosecutor, then mumbled. Morris leaned in. Do you believe asking a question makes someone guilty of obstruction? Kent's jaw tightened. Depends on the situation. But I was calm, respectful, cooperative. And you filed obstruction charges based on seconds of hesitation? No answer. Judge Tilson sighed, tired of the imbalance. Dismissed Kent from the stand. To prosecution. Dismiss the charge or I will rule. They moved to dismiss. Morris rose. Your Honor, I came prepared not just for myself, but for all who face this silence. This process can still work when someone stands with truth and evidence. I ask the court to review Officer Kent's past cases, to seek justice where none has been. The judge nodded slowly, but gave no answer. This isn't just a story about one traffic stop. It's about courage in the face of systems built to silence us. When one man chooses to fight calmly, persistently, with facts, change can start. But the fight is never over, because for every Morris Brandt, there are thousands still unheard. Officer Kent's actions are now under review. But will the system that protects him finally face accountability? Will Morris's quiet resistance inspire others? Or will it be crushed? What happens next could change Valdosta forever. If you believe in justice and truth, hit that like button and subscribe to hear the next part of Morris's story. Share this video because silence only protects those in power. The case was supposed to end the moment the judge dismissed the charge. But for Morris Brandt and the town of Valdosta, it was just the beginning. Because when you threaten the system doesn't back down. It strikes back. Last time, Morris Brandt, Army veteran, community organizer, and lawyer, was pulled over by Officer Bradley Kent for a broken tail light that wasn't broken. When Morris calmly asked questions, Kent charged him with obstruction. But Morris wasn't just any man. He recorded the entire stop. He represented himself. He came to court with receipts, literal ones, showing a pattern of Kent's abuse targeting black drivers. And when Morris pressed play on that courtroom video, everything changed. The judge dismissed the charge. The courtroom leaned in, and Kent lost control of the narrative. But what nobody knew, not Morris, not the judge, not even Kent, was that this single case was about to uncover something way darker than traffic stops. 2 days after the dismissal, Morris returned to his small office on Patterson Street. The folders were still spread out. The strings still connected names, dates, tickets. But now, new names were calling him. By noon, his voicemail was full. Morris, my brother got stopped just like that. 2019. Never got his job back. Mr. Brandt, I got followed home last year. Same officer. I never even told my wife. Some voices were shaky. Others were quiet. But they all carried weight. Fear, regret, anger wrapped in silence. Morris didn't ask them to come forward. They just did. But not everyone was happy. 3 nights later, Morris came home late from a community meeting. His porch light was flickering odd. He'd just changed it. There was a yellow envelope on his doorstep. No return address. Just his name in shaky handwriting. Inside, printouts. Photos of Morris in his car, at his office. 1. Standing at his mother's grave. No note. Just surveillance. He checked the cameras on his front porch. Someone had unplugged them that night. He slept with the lights on. This wasn't fear. This was a warning. And Morris knew exactly who would benefit from scaring him silent. He went back to digging deeper this time. Not just Kent's traffic stops. Not just court records. Personnel files. Through a legal contact in Atlanta, he secured a partial report from Kent's internal affairs folder. And that's when the real bombshell hit. Officer Kent had 2 prior use of force complaints in 2016 and 2018, both mysteriously resolved internally. The complainants? Black men. One was a school janitor. The other, a 22-year-old named Dion Patrick, the same Dion who got stopped riding his bike. The same one Morris remembered from years ago. But here's the twist. Dion never left Valdosta. Morris had been told he moved away, but according to the clerk's office, Dion had been found dead in a motel outside town 3 years ago. Cause of death undetermined, and the responding officer on the scene, Bradley Kent. Morris felt his throat go dry. This wasn't just traffic stops anymore. This was something else. He printed everything the IA reports, the death record, even the photo from Dion's funeral posted online by a cousin. The kid looked young, tired, and forgotten. This was the case Morris hadn't seen coming. He thought he was fighting a crooked cop, Now it looked like he was staring down something much worse. If you're still watching, this is when it gets real. Like, subscribe, share this story, because what Morris uncovered next flipped everything upside down. Morris drove to the motel where Dion was found. The manager, an older white man with nicotine-stained fingers, said he didn't remember much. But when Morris showed him the funeral photo, the man's eyes shifted. He remembered. Kent was there that night, he said slowly. Told us to stay out the room, said the kid-odd. But no drugs were ever listed in the autopsy, and the autopsy had never been signed. No toxicology, no official code, just undetermined. It stank bad. Morris tried calling Dean's cousin, the one who posted the photo. Number disconnected, back in town. The whispers turned to murmurs. Someone scratched traitor on Morris's car window in red. He reported it. No one followed up. He started noticing a white Crown Vic parked across from his office. Every night, same spot, unmarked. No plates. When he stepped outside to confront it, the car pulled off, quiet, methodical. This was no longer intimidation. It was surveillance. Morris wasn't just shaking up a case. He was digging up a body someone had buried a long time ago, metaphorically. Or maybe not. One morning, he returned to his office and found the front door wide open. His files? Gone. Every folder, photo, note, all of it. But whoever broke in forgot one thing. Morris had backups, and hidden inside his old army duffel bag, wrapped in his unit's flag, was the flash drive with Dean's file and a voice memo from one of the original complainants. He uploaded the files to an encrypted cloud. He wasn't taking any more chances, but the last straw came 2 days later. Morris went to visit Dean's mother. She opened the door halfway. I sunken. I told them I didn't know anything. She whispered, told who? Morris asked. She didn't answer. She just passed him an envelope. Inside, a photo. Surveillance again. Only, this time, it was of his niece walking home from school. Morris felt his heart freeze. This wasn't a warning. This was a message. Morris thought the courtroom was the fight. But now the system had left the courtroom behind. They were coming after his family. And if he kept going, someone else might end up like Dion. But if he backed down now, they win. So the real question is, what would you do if the system knocked on your front door? Want part 2? Comment stand if you think Morris should keep fighting. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. This ain't over. Not by a long shot.